Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Thank you guys so much for joining me once again today. And so we have Cindy with us.
Hi, you guys. It's great to be here again.
Zeke and Sassy are here as well. And I hope all you guys are doing great. I want to thank Maverick for this because he basically gave me the heads up on this, and it's something I really didn't research in depth before. So this is really cool. Planetary Protector, great to see you. Great to see you, Nathan, brother. Our Al, hello. David Wilburn, David Lewis, great to see you guys. Sassy's in the house in more ways than one. And so what we're going to talk about, well, for one, just everybody I'm talking to is seeing all sorts of crazy stuff in the skies. It's just becoming a every single day thing. Hey, Kimmy, good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
Hi, Kimmy. How you doing?
Sherry, good to see you. Much love.
Hi, Sherry. Great to see you here.
So it seems like everybody I'm talking to is seeing unusual stuff in the skies. And of course, we've talked about the U.S. Navy just coming right out and saying that, yeah, they saw stuff that was unidentified and flying and doing things that our planes can't do. And so, that's an admission right there of UFOs. And, we're going on with a slow disclosure. I think a lot of people believe that. And, one channel member said, hey, it's been going on since Roswell, just a slow trickle. But I think it's going up to another notch now. It's going up a lot. Hey, Mark, good to see you. And that, Lua B, great to see you as well. So, I feel like we are in this time of disclosure. Do I believe in aliens and extraterrestrials, interdimensionals? If I put them all three in that group, do I think that they exist and that they've been here or are here? Then I would say, yeah, definitely. Am I 100% sure that these entities are non-terrestrial and not simply interdimensional? No. Am I sure there's interdimensionals? I would say yes, because I've experienced it firsthand. And everybody has their own opinion on these things as well. Skylar, good to see you. Asheville in the house. Kim S., good to see you as well. Quartz is here. Great to see you as always, my friend.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I saw you're not feeling well, Kimmy. I'm so sorry. Maybe we can sit and send you some energy tonight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have one of our really good family members and supporter on Patreon has a dog that was sick, and Cindy and I were sending it energy, and it's doing great now. So that's an awesome thing. I've shared with you guys before that I feel like since the changes in energy, everything coming in, the good part is we could be so effective with our energy work, with our prayers, with, the healing power of just our minds and hearts is so much more effective than it was just like 5 years ago. It's night and day.
Well, I was really surprised. I had sent my dog that I don't have with me at the moment. She had a tumor on her right shoulder. And I just, for the heck of it, I laid down and I sent her energy. And then the next day when I was checking on her, asking someone if I brought over the turmeric, if they could give it to her, they said, well, the tumor is gone. It had popped. And I was just shocked. I was totally shocked.
Yes, it's definitely possible. We could do amazing things. And so what we want to talk about right now, I just wanted to bring that up, but what we want to talk about is basically what's going on in our skies. Liquid Skybot says the government had this tech for years. They'll never allow it out in the public because it'd end all reliance on oil and gas. And, I agree totally. That's why they haven't let it out to the public. I think, I think things are changing, though, and I think it's inevitable. There might even be that they are being told by other forces that if they don't release the info, somebody else will. It does feel like there are, Cindy and I both have this strong feeling, and a little bit more than a strong feeling, that there are benevolent forces that are starting to push the hand of the ones that have been controlling our situation globally.
Yeah, I really do believe that. I think when I was younger, there were more dark forces that had a lot more control, and it just feels like now that is lifting, that we are starting to take control of our own ship now. It just something, there feels like a breath of fresh air coming in.
Yeah, exactly. And money and control. There was a headline, Russia Today, about ships from, let me see who it was. Let's bring this up. I forgot already because I'm so focused on this stuff. Well, that too. That's not what I was going to talk about, though. Let's see. Yeah, Kuwait and Qatar to join U.S.-led naval coalition to protect the oil, it's flowing out of the Gulf and everything from Iran. And, to me, it's really the biggest farce in the world, what we see going on. What we see going on is a joke because, like, I think most of you guys in the chat room believe basically, Tesla knew about free energy and the powers that be have that technology. They've had it for a long time, but they use this whole paradigm that we're living in to control everything. He who controls the energy and the money, you control everything. So you take one of those links in the chain that has been weighing us down out of the situation, and it weakens them. Good to see you, Brother Craig. Much love, my friend. Good to see Free Thought Domain, Koki 1955, Swarm News. Evil forces fighting. Yeah, I think there really is a battle going on. And, Free Thought Domain says they've been making anti-gravity since the 40s. Yeah, I agree. Maybe I should start at the end instead of at the beginning. Why not do that? I've never done that on a live before. So, when we look at what the Nazis did, here we see Maria Orsic and the Vril Society and them contacting the aliens. And I always like to put extraterrestrial, interdimensional together because honestly, it kind of goes together in some ways. I think that definitely there have been very physical beings on our planet. And, as I said to you guys, I woke up in December of 2017 to see a very, very tall gray, or some would call them tall white, leaning over me. I'd say 8 to 9 feet tall. I had felt something go into my lower abdomen, my dantian, my lower dantian, which is like the energy center where we store our physical jing, our essence. And I felt it clear as day. And I woke up, and I don't think it expected me to wake up. And I watched it, I would estimate for about 90 seconds, try to fade out of existence. And it did. It went from looking very, very solid to getting less and less solid, and then just slowly faded away. So, for me, I don't have any doubts that there's interdimensional beings. So either way we look at it, these are non-human beings, basically. I'll put it that way. And so, the Nazis made contact supposedly with some Nordic type of aliens, and then also possibly with Greys and reptilians. And there is the thought that there is this power of three there. Really, it's the fact that these are the Nords that are with the Greys and the reptilians are basically under the reptilian control, because the reptilians operate like the Roman Empire, and that is that's our status quo. That's what we have right here, is basically the same setup that the reptilians use in other areas. And so others, as well as some people, notable people like Aleister Crowley, made contact with Aiwass. If for you guys that don't know that, I'm going to type it in while I hand it off to Cindy.
Yeah, I know for me, not only do I believe in them, it's like, how can you not? That's my thing. How can you not believe in them? We can't possibly be alone here, and not all these people who say they've had sightings could possibly be wrong. It's ridiculous, but here we go. Here's this guy.
So this is what Crowley contacted, and Crowley is an interesting character to say the least. And of course, we'll have our fundamentalists that view everything as demons, just because that's the way they were brought up, and then others will recognize that there's all sorts of beings out there. Now, if you want to call something demonic, something that's negative and maybe parasitic, even living off the life force of people, well, it's up for grabs, because Crowley didn't view them that way. You can see the statement here. They call us angels and demons today, but tomorrow they'll call us something else. And there's been people that did a lot of research into this, and many of these beings could probably appear in different ways and control even people's minds. Well, thank you, Superwoman. We try to cover all the stuff that we find interesting, and to me, it's these type of things that are fascinating. Farmer says aliens are fallen angels. So every form of life that's out there in the multiverse are all just fallen angels, because angel means messenger. So who's messenger? Well, you're probably going to go to the Satan thing. I just think we need to expand our vocabulary a little, and learn a little bit more. Sherry says they attack me, the evil ones. They do. They have a tendency to do that. And I think that a lot of people here are getting attacked because a lot of the people here are working for the light, working to spread true knowledge, wake people up to what's going on with the manipulation going on too. Quartz says humans are evil too, and there are most definitely people that have just darkness in them, without a doubt. And I think more people than we believe are influenced by these dark energies. I think a lot of people that do absolutely diabolical things are really being controlled by these energies. I think a lot of the mass murders that we see, the mass shootings, are exactly that.
I do. I think people lose it. They go crazy and they do these horrible things. And I do believe in the MK Ultra. In fact, I think there's been a little bit of that go on in my family history. It's pretty nasty stuff, how they break someone's consciousness and they split people apart and then control them with, certain buzzwords. I completely believe in that. And it's a shame, but they have it kind of down to a science now where they can really remote control people.
And so Rizar says he has worked on his energy growth and have the power to cast them away. And that's exactly what we have to do, is get in contact with that power. Recognize it's there. It's amazing. Cindy and I, we had a great day really so far. We did 3 videos and we did this live now. And we had a hell of a workout. We did 36 sets for legs. And before that, though, we did QiGong and we did some energy work. And we sent energy from my mother, who they say is stage 4 cancer. And she's in hospice right now. And so they're looking at like hours or days. But there is quantum entanglement. And even though she's 3,000 miles away, we figured it was better to just send energy here instead of to try to pack up and rush out there, because distance doesn't really matter. And so she was feeling a little bit better today. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for your prayers as well, because I really think we could change. We have tremendous power inside of us. And so part of this paradigm is trying to get us to believe that we're powerless. Totally, and that's not the case. We're not powerless. We're extremely powerful, and we will get attacked. There are attacks that happen on a regular basis now. Many people are seeing that, feeling that, seeing entities. As the dimensions perhaps merge, as we go through this period of ascension or the apocalypse, the unveiling, things are they're changing dramatically. And there are definitely dark spirits out there, without a doubt. There are dark entities out there that just feed off of misery and suffering, and they're the ones that have been manipulating the humans at the top. And of course, manipulating the humans with power, greed, lust, control. You guys know about how things really are. We're seeing that whole tangled, disgusting, vile web starting to collapse and be exposed for what it is, We were talking about the quote-unquote fantasy island and, the person that was suicided recently, begins with an E. All this stuff that's going on now, it's really being exposed for what it is. It's really very, very sad, but this is the reality we've been in.
Yeah, I think one way to get rid of those darker entities, though, is to raise your vibration. And one way that we've been doing that is, we kicked out the preservatives, very little sugar, if any, really, and exercising to raise your vibration, because if your vibration is up there, it's really difficult for them to latch on. In fact, they have to expend energy to hold on to you. That's what it feels like to me, ever since I've been exercising, eating right. Things have gotten better. My mind is clearer, and I know that I've gotten rid of a lot of those buggers.
Jason says that Jesus is the only one that has complete power over all evil. Then how do you explain greater things ye shall do than he did? That's part of the conditioning of taking power away from us. He even said, the kingdom of heaven lies within us. And yes, exactly. A cult is hidden. It's not evil. It's things that have been hidden on purpose. So, yeah, we must recognize that. When I was in my early 20s, I was 19, in my first apartment, and had sleep paralysis on 2 nights in a row. At that time, I was more of a born-again, quote-unquote, Christian, and I called on the power of Christ to get rid of it, and it took a while. I was slowly able to start to move again, and I was totally freaked out. And that was one of the things that really started pushing me down into the discovery trail. But I've also woken up, and more recently, I will go back 12 years, to when my son was 8 years old, and woke up and saw this dark energy form over him. Looked like it was sucking his energy, draining his energy. It had glowing red eyes. And so I just basically yelled at it to get the bleep out, and went and sent energy out of me at it, and it took right off. It hissed, but took right off. And then I worked with a paranormal group for about 3 years and cleansed many places, not using the name of Christ anymore, because I think that we could tap into the power that we're connected to. I think source is in all of us. And that's my personal opinion, and now it's easier than ever to get rid of them. It's just a matter of belief. And so you can use Jesus or that energy channel if you understand chaos magic, and if you go deeper into magical theory, everything is energy. So there's tremendous energy in certain lines of thought. So if you're calling on Krishna, and because there's been so many people that have called on Krishna over the millennia, there's a tremendous amount of power there, even if Krishna was never even a real person. But I do think that he existed, and I do think that there's many, many benevolent beings that have come and helped us out. And so anyone, even if Jesus never existed, there would be tremendous power in his name now, because so many people have belief. They've put that belief into it. It's like plugging a socket into the wall, taking the plug, just plugging it right in. There's a generator there. It's everybody's belief in this that creates tremendous power. So regardless, there's tremendous power. Koki 1955 says, don't buy the lie that you should be as gods. See, I think that's part of the conditioning, totally. And I think that's part of it that keeps us in this lower level and doubting our own innate ability. I truly do. And I think that's through our religion that we've been controlled and so strongly.
Yeah, I know that was a big part that kept me down and kept me from helping other people, was going by the Bible is a control matrix, and it's really not very nice to tell people that they're sinners and tell people that, you can't do this and you can't do that, when all most people really want to do is follow their heart. And I mean, I felt guilty for liking tarot cards. I felt guilty for wanting to read astrology. And I don't think that there should be any fear in anything that's called love. I just don't.
Yeah, exactly. Free Thought Domain says spirituality was hijacked by religion. Yeah, hijacked by dogma. Locking things down into one particular little box that nobody agrees on, because even like in Christianity, there's thousands of different, aspects to it. You have Mormons, and we have, Jehovah's Witnesses, we have the Catholic Church, we have evangelicals, we have fundamental, all sorts. It's nobody agrees on anything when you get down to it. So, that's one of the things we're going to need to get past. So getting back to the Nazis and the occult, which is a fascinating topic because they believed in occult artifacts. For one, they truly did. If you ever saw, obviously, Raiders of the Lost Ark, it was really based on fact. They went around everywhere looking for things, like the spear of Longinus, the one that actually stabbed the side of Christ. They were looking for that. They were looking for all sorts of artifacts, and they understood the power of symbols like the swastika, which is inverted, of an inverted Hindu symbol. And supposedly they contacted these Nordic aliens or extraterrestrials. But are they really interdimensionals, or are they really inner Earth? See, there's a lot of questions here, but irregardless, their technology exploded because Germany is not the largest country in the world and didn't have the power that the United States have or the resources, but yet they were so far ahead technologically. As we see this here, the reptilian aliens helped the Nazis build the space program in Antarctica. And then we see, towards the end of World War II, with the Nazis leaving in droves and heading to Argentina, South America, and Antarctica, because they did have bases down there. And as we see here, the flying saucers, they really did have them. New Swabia we see there. It's real. This stuff is legit. And so when Admiral Byrd went down there with a large contingent, he got his butt kicked. Because the Nazis that escaped had superior technology, as you see Hitler with his little buddy there. Boy, they look like longtime friends, don't they? Quite a pair right there. Quite a pair. I'm sure drinking buddies and the like. Some good Bavarian beer. And here again we see the Nordic type and the Vril. Maria Orsic. Very famous Nordic aliens. So, are all Nordic aliens bad? Apparently not, if we look at all the sources that we have, all the different channeled material that's come in, and then also the legends of Agartha and the Inner Earth, Telos. There's been so many people that have had contact with them. The Greys seem to be the ones that people have contact with the most and have sightings of, followed by the Nordics, while the reptilians hang there in the rear. So according to declassified CIA documents, the Nazis built flying saucers. And yeah, there's so much film on this. There's photos like this one right here. That's a declassified photo from the CIA. So that is actually legit, guys.
Yeah, and I had that dream about Telos and the Inner Earth. I didn't. Oh my God. Anjanita Centereg, thank you so much. That was incredible. My jaw. Hold on while I pick my jaw up. And thank you. Here's Michael. Oh wow.
Thank you so much for that support. As you guys know, there's tons of censorship going on, and so that's that definitely helps keep us going. So thank you so much for your support, Agneta. And where did I see that? Okay, Scott, New York City. I agree with you. I do agree with you. When we look at it, we have Operation. I always get them mixed up. Yeah, Operation Paperclip brings in so many top brains And who's to say, I've said this many times, maybe Germany lost the war, but did the Nazis really lose the war? Did they really? Because what are we operating like? Look at what we got. We got homeland security. That's exactly how it was always worded in Nazi Germany. The homeland. They needed Lebensraum for the homeland, living space, and that's why they, went to take over Poland first, and then the other countries. But of course, there's other things going on there as well. Like the U.S. knew that Pearl Harbor was coming. Again, there's been so many false flags, and there's been so many events that perhaps they knew was coming, but they wanted a trigger. They wanted a triggering event. And, so it's really interesting to see all this, because it's legit. It is really legit that the Nazis did have these type of saucers. And this is way a long time ago. From the time they first started developing these, we're looking at like over 80 years now. So, what type of tech is out there? I think it's absolutely mind-blowing. And of course, there's many people that believe we're going to have this Project Bluebeam alien invasion thing going on. And, whether or not it's all holographic or real, I think something like that is coming. I really do. I think something like that is in the works personally.
Yeah, reading here, power vapor supply. The Bushes have Nazis in their family ancestry. I believe that. And I think that all of our people who are leading, and I do believe, I remember seeing a girl do a project in school where she saw that all of our presidents and stuff were all in the same family tree. So that tells you that it's like just the same power behind them all, and all these people are just puppets, and they're being controlled, they're being manipulated, we're being controlled, we're being manipulated, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And that's why I think, partially breaking up of the common norm and societal norm is really important, because it's almost like we live under a very narcissistic society.
And it's cultivated, most definitely. And so Koki 1955 was saying Project Bluebeam and the voice to Skull Tech. Yeah, that's real. That is real. And, honestly, I've been very suspicious about a lot of the horrible mass events that we've seen. And that's another good point, too. Thank you so much, Matthew. Bless you. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you.
Xenopec, yeah. Tesla's UFO, Tesla's earthquake, Tesla's free... Tesla. I mean, this guy was so far ahead of his time. And when you listen to how he described the things that came to him, it's almost like he was channeling. Yeah, and I do think he was channeling. Was he channeling his higher self? Was he channeling some benevolent ETs, interdimensionals? Everybody has their own opinion on that, I guess, again, too.
So what I learned about Tesla is he had a thing called, I think it's called synesthesia. And that's when your senses are a little bit mixed, and where you can see sound and you can like taste color. Like I was like that when I was little. I could taste color. So it was really weird. I would see a color and I knew what it tasted like. It was really strange. So he was a very curious being. Sometimes I think he was a little alien.
Perhaps. Perhaps he was. Perhaps he was a starseed. Just really interesting. The amazing mind. As we see, the little diagram of this Nazi flying machine. And again, real photos. And there it is in the back. This stuff is real. Real and very, very cool. So this one had a crew of 32 with room for up to 70 people. I wasn't aware it was that big. First flight 1945 and available for service 1945. And perhaps this is part of what Admiral Byrd ended up fighting and not doing too well with. as we see another vintage photo and yet another vintage photo of some earlier attempts there. They were definitely inspired technologically, to say the least. Did they have help? I would guess so. I mean, that's my personal take on this, is that they did have help. And again, I can't say for sure if it was extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or inner Earth. But, they were way ahead. They were way, way ahead. And, unfortunately, we may never know exactly the truth of all this. But certainly very interesting. And seeing a lot of good comments in there. Yeah, Philadelphia experiment. There you go. That's another interesting thing to talk about and think about. Veronica, yes, they received help by the ETs. And yes, the Sumerian attachment there too, the connection. So we see this out in Metro. The U.S. Navy secretly designed a super-fast, futuristic aircraft resembling a UFO, documents reveal. And now I'll go to the original one that I wanted to bring up. So the TR-3B, a lot of you guys might have heard, or maybe you guys have even seen these. I know Soul Reviver has seen these out there. I saw one of these back in 2000, I believe. I was at the beach. This is up in Connecticut, Milford, Connecticut. And my ex-wife, I and my daughter used to like to go on Friday nights to the beach, and I had a Jeep type of thing where they take the top off, and we would just, have like a picnic at the beach, around dusk. And a lot of times we just go pick up a pizza or what have you. And we saw this thing, and it was amazing because it looked to be, to me, about maybe 3 or 4 telephone poles high. So, I don't know, 200-300 feet high. It wasn't too high. But it was like a football field across, the one that we saw. It was huge because it blotted out a big chunk of the sky when it went overhead, and it went directly over our heads. And it was silent. So, I mean, I was thinking, is this thing like a dirigible? Is it like a blimp? But there was even no little hum that you would get from, the engine on a dirigible. And it just went silently overhead, and it had lights underneath it. Kind of like what this was showing, but it had more lights. It was like there was 4, I think, going down each line. And it would blink kind of in sequence, like boom, 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 boom. And then it was going over certain houses, and we'd see a light come on the middle, and almost like a beam of light coming down on top of a house. I don't know what they were doing. I would guess that maybe they were watching certain people. And then again, it gets me thinking about genetic experiments and all.
I know, and it seems like a lot of this stuff that we're... Aw, thank you so much. You are so sweet. Agneta, I hope I didn't butcher your name. I hope I said it right. God bless you so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff that Michael brings up, I really think should be taught in schools, but they're not going to do that. They're going to teach our kids what they want to teach our kids so that they grow up and they're in a box and they can't break out of that because they're going to take pride in what they've learned because it's been almost scolded into them that they have to do things a certain way. So I know Michael came across an email the other day about someone talking, it was called unschooled, right?
Yeah, unschooling.
Yeah, unschooling. And I actually think that's a pretty good idea. And I do homeschool my daughter, and I'm just lucky I can be right here to tell her, like, look, everything, I tell her to not stress because everything she's learning this year is going to be completely different next year. So I really think our kids need to be given a break, in school, and hopefully we can help them not stress so much about their grades. I don't think that's super important anymore. I think the school system is within 10 years, I think our kids are going to be a little bit liberated. That's my hope.
I certainly hope so too. And, I agree with you guys. Thank you. We love you too. And, they are teaching kids to be slaves in so many ways, and deprogramming is needed. And yeah, homeschooling is the best. So very interesting comments. And before we get to that one, this is out of the drive. And so Maverick said to me, did you see the patents that were released? And this is pretty interesting stuff. These are obviously very similar plans right here to what we're seeing in the sky. And there's different sized triangles and different types. Soul Reviver was saying that, and I agree with him totally. I think there's at least 3 different versions, 3 different craft that are triangular, very different sizes, capabilities. The one that I saw at the beach, that was massive. I'd say 300 to 400 feet across. But then I know a lot of people have seen much smaller ones too. Maybe more in that 30 to 50 foot range. So here we see the United States Secretary of the Navy is listed as the assignee on several radical aviation technologies patented by aerospace engineer working at the Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division, headquartered in Maryland. One of these patents describes a hybrid aerospace underwater craft claimed to be capable of truly extraordinary feats of speed and maneuverability in air, water, and outer space alike, thanks to revolutionary electromagnetic propulsion system. Sound far-fetched? Well, you're not alone, but yeah, there's patents for this. And the Chinese are already investing significantly in these aerospace technologies that sound eerily similar to the UFOs reported by the Navy pilots in now well-known encounters. This raises the question, are the Chinese developing or even already have flying craft leveraging similar to advanced technology? And is the Navy now scrambling to catch up? Now the drive, this is mainstream. It's mainstream war. They're all about everything happening in the military. So it's a great place to catch up on anything going on militarily, equipment, things like that. Not so much UFOs and stuff. So it's interesting that they have this. And so they're going to take it from a real mainstream point of view. And so as they're saying here, the bizarre saga of the U.S. Navy and its sudden willingness to admit that its personnel regularly encountered unidentified objects in the skies keep getting stranger. Why all of a sudden the shift in policy? I love it that they're talking about it like this, because these guys are truly perplexed, because this, as we said, is more of a mainstream mentality than a fringe mentality. News outlets of all types have for months been discussing the matter, yet we still don't know exactly what's actually happening here. Clearly, the narrative is being carefully controlled by the Department of Defense and the Navy. We can only base our speculation on what has been released to the public over the last few years through the media and what is still public record. With that said, maybe the most curious additions to the still developing saga is a set of strange aerospace patents, filed by one Salvatore Cesar Pais, an aerospace engineer. And as we can see here, we'll just pop that one open. It might be one I already popped open, but there. Okay, here it is. So laser augmented turbojet propulsion system, craft using inertial mass reduction drive, electromagnetic field generator.
Thank you so much, Coquille 1955. We appreciate you so much, you guys.
Yes, thank you so much for the support. It's gratefully appreciated. And Coqui, whenever I look at your name, I'm thinking of the Coqui frogs in Puerto Rico. I loved when I first went to Puerto Rico. It was my first trip anywhere really out of the northeastern U.S. And I just fell in love with the tropics at that point, and listening to the Coqui frogs at night, just singing their song, was so beautiful.
Sorry, I said your name wrong, Coqui. I really appreciate that a lot. I do. We do. It's so helpful, you guys. It's wonderful. Thank you.
And so Scott said he believes it's predictive programming for the masses, preparing us. Yeah, and so, they're letting us know. I mean, here we're looking at stuff, and there's a lot of other patents too. I mean, that will blow your mind. I've done some shows talking about some of these patents. How about a plasma compression fusion device? That sounds pretty interesting, does it not? High frequency gravitational wave generator? Now you're talking, because that's exactly what the Nazis were using, and those bells, according to sources. So, anti-gravity, yeah, I think we have it. Honestly, I think it exists. I think it's real. I think we have it. So then it makes you think, why do we still have what we have? Why are we still driving these gas guzzlers? Well, obviously, it's about control and profits. You guys know, you were saying it, and it's true. That's what it's all about. Because when this stuff really leaks out and the public finally, initially we'll all be kind of scratching our heads a little and saying, what the, and then it's going to hit home, and then people are going to be like, well, why aren't we like the Jetsons flying around in cars with, they have anti-gravity wave generators? And that's a big question, because if they've had this going back to the 40s, can you imagine what we have? So wait till we see what we're going to see. It's going to blow our minds. So of all the things we're seeing in the skies, I do think some of it is maybe not human. Yeah, maybe not Homo sapiens sapiens. I think some of it's some advanced beings, advanced technologically, and perhaps even what we would call light beings. But I would venture to guess that the vast majority of it is our own stuff. It's just stuff that's been hidden from us.
Well, one thing I definitely feel is we're definitely not the pinnacle of modern technology here. A lot is being hidden from us, and it's just not very fair. And, they're trying to shut channels down like these, or at least, choke us out. And that's why it's so, so wonderful. Your guys' support is so appreciated. And James was asking if we'd seen the previews of the movie that's coming out about Area 51 and Roswell cover-up. No, but definitely going to look it up now. Thank you for that intel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, most definitely. And, what we've gotten here is that, we've talked about being close to Area 51, but, there's a lot. There might be as many as two dozen underground separate bases. And, of course, there are over in New Mexico. Yeah, we've seen that as well. I've experienced some unusual things over in New Mexico camping as well. And, all this is coming out now. So this is pretty interesting stuff. I mean, super interesting stuff. So, a real, what most people would view as a true authentic source of info, like the Drive here, talking about this situation is really, really interesting, and so now you got mainstream people now starting to say, what's going on here? They big turnaround now. All of a sudden they're letting us go and know, that, hey, they got real high-tech stuff. And this hybrid underwater craft, honestly, I've shared with you guys back when I was in that same time frame, like around 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, it was the first time I had a dream that I've had since that. And I saw like all these ships heading towards shore. They were some above the ground, some in the air, and some under the water. And it was like a massive invasion, and everybody was terrified, and it felt really real. And so, are they going to stage something like that? Is something like that in the plans? I would not doubt it for a second. Who knows how people would react to that? It would probably be chaos, just like every sci-fi movie we ever have seen.
I think there would be like a initial jolt to society. People would initially completely freak out and lose their minds, but I do think that we are capable enough, and there's enough of us starseeds here to help pull society back together, because for us it's not going to be a surprise, and there's at least one of us in each family that we're a total misfit, and we talk about these things and we're considered crazy, but I think we're the one necessary one to talk to the family when things do happen.
And so the hybrid aerospace underwater craft in Pais's patent, meanwhile, is described as being capable of incredible feats of speed and maneuverability, and can fly equally well in air, water, or space without leaving a heat signature. This is possible, Pais claims in the patent, because the craft is able to engineer the fabric of our reality at the most fundamental level by exploiting the laws of physics. Do you think this is ET technology? Do you think this is, taking Tesla's stuff to a whole nother level? And doesn't this sound exactly like what the naval pilots, were saying they were seeing? I mean, it's exactly what they described. Exactly. And there are underwater bases. I sense that going through the area off the coast of the Bahamas, actually in the Bermuda Triangle area. I do feel like it was weird, a weird vibe going through there. And here we see some of the drawings. And, there have been those that have seen these things that go into the water and disappear underwater and come out of the water and shoot off into space. So here we have, real patents. It's right out there for us. It is right out there. I mean, there's amazing disclosure going on. So is something huge really close on the horizon? I think so.
I do believe there is disclosure on the horizon. I can see with our kids growing up, if our kids can get a hold of this information, then that'll even be less of a shock to society. I think our kids are what we really need to focus on. I mean, they're beautiful, and hopefully they won't be so schooled. And, I think our children should be allowed to bloom instead of being told what to do. It would be nice just to watch kids grow up and see their significant gifts. And, let them see some of this information and let them come to some conclusions, because it's going to be a big part of their reality.
Stephanie Martin's talking about The Visitors. That was a TV series. I remember hearing about that. I think I might have seen that. I forget how long ago that was. I do remember the one V, where again, it was the visitors, these beings coming in. They look like us, but then they were really reptilians, It's interesting. Oh, yes, I totally remember that Twilight Zone. How to Serve Man. It's a cookbook. I totally remember that. Yeah. And all the people that went on the ships, and then the aliens are trying to feed them because they want to fatten them up because they make better roasts that way. Pretty scary stuff. Yeah, it was the guy that played Freddy Krueger. Most definitely. I remember that. Interesting stuff. And here we see out of Forbes magazine, Energy Dominance, the U.S. Navy patents compact fusion reactor. And so, this stuff is really coming out of the woodwork now. Really coming out of the woodwork. And, you wonder what's next.
You do. There's things that we haven't thought of, but I do think we could go back and look at the Vedas and look at some of that technology, even things that they describe in the Bible, and that's probably what's going to be next, because I think they were there then, and I think they're here now, and probably even better.
Yeah. So are we at the point that Atlantis was, or are we approaching that point? And, is it interesting that all this is coming out in a time frame where many are expecting the great solar sneeze, the micronova, the pole flip, basically the next big cataclysm that's going to send us right back to square one. Is that why this is coming out now? Because something big is coming that ain't going to matter? What do you guys think of that? And here we see out a UFO scoop, U.S. Navy patents anti-gravity, anti-inertia craft. So, this is really, it's just right there. It's right there in our faces. And of course, we have over here, you see the alien threat video. George Knapp, Grant Cameron, Linda Howell, and Tom DeLonge talk about the alien threat, the evil or demonic side of the phenomenon. Well, that's the thing, because I swear I felt like for the longest time that they're going to come out with all this, and the need for all of us to get ready, because there's going to be this huge war coming with these bad ETs. But I think it'll be the bad ETs playing good ETs, or bad interdimensionals playing the good guys, and they'll get us ready to go fight what they are saying is the bad guys, but the bad guys are the good guys. That's how I'm viewing it.
Yeah, that could very well be too. You never really know. It's kind of a crapshoot, but with enough of us here together, we can all pull our perspectives together and probably come up with a pretty darn good conclusion. But yeah, I mean, if it doesn't exist, like why are these patents here? So in a way, these patents, they are disclosure in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. Sherry 2000, Edgar Casey, Dolores Cannon, Where the Earth Breaks Dimensions. Yeah, I mean, it's still, there's that thought, and that's why I did that photo on the second channel, because that's also something that just feels right in my intuition. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet to EE Arts, the second channel, please do, because I do feel like there is a dimensional shift that's going to happen. That's another thing that I feel strongly about. So U.S. Navy just got a patent for an anti-gravity flying saucer. Isn't that cool? And then this is the footage of exactly something that sounds like that. And yet the Navy's saying they don't know what it was. Maybe it was one of their own. Now, what if it was one of their own and they're saying they don't know what it is? What if this is actually one of their secret stuff, secret craft, and they didn't tell their pilots about it. These pilots don't know about it, and maybe it's a drone, maybe it's unmanned, or maybe it is manned. But what would be the point of testing off something that is yours but telling everybody it's not yours? What do you think about that, guys?
Right, exactly. All of this stuff, it's going to come to the surface. It's going to boil up. And it is. It is. Like every day they come out with some really awesome technology. Like a couple weeks ago, I think Michael did a video on cloaking technology. And a few years before that, it was just some sort of a hoax or a joke. But they have it now and they're releasing it. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And I think the more the better. I heard they want to do this rollout. They want to make it last, as far as disclosure is concerned, they want it to last for about 50 years, but then other people are pushing for it to come out a lot sooner than that. And I think we're looking at it here in many ways.
Yeah, I agree. And, I shared with you guys that we have gotten on video, both in California and Nevada, a ton of amazing little drone type things that really actually do resemble Foo Fighters. So it gets me thinking about that, and the Foo Fighters, which obviously were seen en masse back in the 40s during World War II by the pilots. And did we have that technology in those days? I gotta believe that we're way more advanced than what we know, but at the same time I also think that there are other beings that are non-Homo sapiens involved in this mix. And Roger says he's seen them. I've showed you guys so many pictures of them. These orbs that are just incredible. They come out of nowhere. And they were flying at such speeds. It's just mind-blowing. And I've gotten some, like, right in my face. Wasn't that one? I know I've shown you guys this several times. I mean, there's a bunch of them that we have gotten. And so, like, this one that I'm showing you right now, it just comes and just whoosh, so fast. And this is at Soul Reviver's house. So this is at Soul Reviver's house. We were visiting with him. And he could tell me how high that power line is, but I think it's maybe somewhere around 20, 25 feet. And this thing's way underneath the power line. And it just scooted around and I think went maybe like a foot away from my face, maybe inches. And I didn't see it at all. It was moving so fast. But when we slowed it down, we got to see it. And I think this is one of those Foo Fighters, probably the same thing as what people were saying were Foo Fighters back in the 40s. And so whose are these? I don't know. I mean, I would venture to guess this is not ours, but maybe it is. Yeah, we can't really tell.
I don't know. I remember this because we had done our meditation and our mantras, and then you just, thought you felt like doing a video, and we got so many orbs. And that just goes to show that we can connect to different dimensions, and they are listening. They're here. They're here for us, and maybe watching us, maybe not here to help us, but there it is. I remember that day very well. And you got all kinds of stuff on that video after we did our mantras, meditation, and whatnot.
Yeah, and there were some things that were in the sky that honestly felt amazingly benevolent. And so this is a real close-up of this thing. And that was earlier than this. And then we went outside and we did mantras and meditation. And then I just felt like my crown chakra was wide open, so we just started to do a video. And this thing came flying right by. Pretty cool. Super cool. And, that's not the only time that's happened. It's happened so many times lately.
Hi, Farmer. Yeah, this was a really small little bugger, I think. This was
Yeah, I would guess it's only, I don't know, maybe 2 to 4 inches is probably what I would guess. I think it's very small. But you could see it clearly. Maybe I'm off, but I would say 2 to 4 inches and just traveling at incredible speed. But I've seen other ones here as well. I mean, I've gotten tons of them. Now, this thing looks really round, and other ones have come through that are a little different shaped. Here's a view of it over here. So that was 3. That was what I could get out of it. It's moving so fast. 3 like screenshots. And here you see it right there. It's some sort of drone of somebody's. It's definitely not Mr. Smith's down the street or anything like that. But it moves so fast. It was incredible. You think they're that small? Then how close did it get to me? I see Soul Reviver saying he thinks that they're tiny. Maybe smaller than a pinky-fingered nail. I'm not sure how much of it would show up, though, unless it got, like, right in my face. Literally like a few inches away. Is this getting, if that's the case, it's hard to say. But at the same time, I've seen some farther up and you could still make them out as well. Going up higher. Let's see if this one. Well, this is a different shaped one that's up a little bit higher. And I've seen several shaped like this as well. Almost looks like it has some sort of little antenna, or almost looks like an old-fashioned king's crown or something. I don't know, but these things are in our sky all the time. They're all over the place. It's like there's not a video that goes by if I'm ever filming the sky that we don't get 2 or 3 of these. It happens all the time.
Yeah, it does, and it just seems to be a little more prevalent when we do mantras and meditation. I think that helps raise our vibration just enough so we can catch a little bit more from a different dimension, maybe even a higher dimension. I know all of these things that you've caught, except for that one, have all felt very benevolent, and I've gotten no bad vibes except for that one in the desert. That was the only one that felt kind of yucky.
Yeah, and that's the one that later on I had several people reach out to me and just say, I don't want to freak you out or anything, but yeah, that's reptilian. The reptilians are controlling that one. And I got that from a very close friend who's actually kind of a psychic for the government, and that was this one that we're talking about. And so this was in one of our favorite spots that we head to often. And we've filmed some weird stuff there and had weird experiences. So this is supposedly a drone for controlled by the Greys that are working for the reptilians. And I have it's in one of my videos too. I forget what this video was called, but amazing stuff. And this thing shoots by so damn fast too. It's just incredibly fast.
Darn fast, or we're gonna get demonetized. Darn fast.
Yeah, and this is bigger. This is way bigger than those energy balls that we were talking about. So yeah, we have. I mean, we've had contact with what we would say is benevolent beings, through our meditations, and we've gotten kind of downloads from them. That's why we feel so sure about what we're doing, and we've also felt the pressure and attacks of the dark side, and you know both Cindy and I have been unexplainably cut at times, and we have no explanation for it. She literally woke up one morning, was getting out of bed, and then just was like, ow. And then she put her hand behind her neck, and she's like, am I bleeding, honey? And I said, yeah, you are. You got like 3, it looked like somebody scratched her with fingernails, but there's nobody around her. And the same thing has happened to me, spontaneous bleeding. Even when we were in this area where we saw this drone, all of a sudden it felt like it, and there's not a lot of bugs out here. There's like nothing. We don't encounter hardly anything out there. All of a sudden, there was a cut on my leg, and I have no idea where it came from, but it felt like it was the not nice guys doing it.
Yeah, I know. We've both gone through some trials, and I do think that they've tried to, keep us from leveling up. I like to call it leveling up. They've tried to keep our vibrations low, but we just keep on keeping on and keep doing the right thing, and we go higher and higher, and we're having less and less of those bad attacks. So, and I think it's because our energy is just getting stronger. I really believe that. So and I also feel like we do have an extra layer of protection, especially around here. Here's a little bit, I don't know, it feels so mechanical out here, kind of. But we have protection.
Yeah, I know she senses them, and like when we go to our favorite place to shoot some pool, it's just like clockwork. Usually right around 7 p.m., there's a reptilian patrol. They patrol, and this one's not coming in there. There it is. And it's just what happens, and we it's just regular for us, so we're used to it, and you could feel the energy flow through, and it's kind of dark.
Well, one of the subscribers suggested maybe what I'm seeing is they're actually doing it in a different dimension, because it's definitely there. It's just in a third eye kind of way. And I know that we have underground bases here. I wouldn't be too surprised if it wasn't like down, underground is where I'm seeing it. They're huge, and they're scary, and they're intimidating, but I know they're there. When I close my eyes, I can see it. When I open my eyes, I can't see it. It's so creepy.
So yesterday we went and we took Zeke and Sassy for a little walk, and we're heading up this hill. And as we're walking, you could hear it's just totally hollow underground. Totally hollow. It's just, as our feet are pounding the dirt, you could hear it echoing underneath. But, hey, we're in Nevada, and we're very close to the base. We are literally just, I don't even know if we're like a mile to, probably not even a mile to being on, the Nevada test site. I don't even think it's a mile. I think it's just right on the other side of the mountains. So probably about a half a mile to being on the Nevada test site. So that's how close we are.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Agneta Centrig. We appreciate you so much. God bless you. Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, we're totally speechless. Thank you so much for your support. It's amazing. Thank you so much for helping us do what we do, because, obviously there's definitely the forces that are trying to stop that. But, we're going to keep doing what we do as long as we can, and never give up. And if anything ever happened, like I said at the last live, if anything ever happened, you could find us on BitChute. And I'm looking into Twitch for doing some lives as well, just in case, so that just so we are still doing what we came here to do, which is to let everybody know what's really going on, keep them informed. That's our life's mission, that, and actually healing people, helping people to learn how to heal themselves as well, which is something that's in all of us. We can do miracles. We truly can do miracles. It's amazing what we can do if we just believe in ourselves. And so, I want to thank you guys for joining us once again. And thank you so much for all your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon and just supporting the channel in every which way. As Koki's saying right there, they're coming after creators, and some subscribers are getting slack too, especially you that are vocal, and it's true. I mean, I get that from a lot of people out there that they have problems. They can't find the videos. They don't get notifications. They're getting their comments censored. There's some people that, just whatever they make a comment on, it's getting censored now as well. So, there are things that are popping up like BitChute and Brighteon and Twitch. So there's other possibilities out there. And that's a beautiful thing because that empowers us, and we'll keep going as well.
We will. We'll, and if you guys don't mind, if you could check your subscriptions, because it's actually been ticking backwards. It says that we're losing, and I know we're not losing because we're answering people's emails. We're talking with you guys. You're hitting us up on Facebook. I know that we're not losing subs. So, I mean, if you could just double check. And really, I appreciate you guys so, so much. You guys are so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Agneta, and thank you, everybody. We love you guys a ton, and we'll keep doing what we're doing, and you guys stay blessed as well. And may you guys always be protected, always be full of love, light, and healing energy. And we'll keep doing this, and we'll keep pushing forward because, this is the great apocalypse. It is the unveiling, and that's what we're here to do. It's just to unveil things and expose everything that's been hidden. And number one, our power, especially when we're united, it's amazing what we'll be able to do.
God bless you guys. Take super good care. Love you so, so much.
God bless, guys. Namaste.
And namaste.